they're on the brink of about 14,000 hours of where will LeBron go coverage if they lose this game. Will that get halted? Here are both sides prepping for the big one tonight.
I don't enjoy being in a position where it's like, you lose and go home, but just try to extend the series, as long as I can, and just try to put myself and my team in position to be able to continue to play. So I haven't always been successful, obviously. I haven't won every elimination game, but I've had some really good games, and I've had some subpar games as well. As these series go on, gets harder and harder to win games, and you have to play with great force on both ends of the court. You're playing against really good teams, and here you're trying to, knock off a group that has a number of champions, and obviously a generational player. So it's a heck of a challenge. I feel like in Game 4 we did a really good job. I think we won all 3 quarters except the first. So I think a good start is really important here tonight, but we're capable of doing it. We just got to get it done.
All right, we get in the know once again, and I always bring this up. Notice that he has the team of producers in his back pocket because he's 10 times the size of all of us. Here he is, Mr. Shooter's Paradise himself. 3D. DZ, you've been on this series. You've been around it. Everyone's going to talk about, that. Could this be LeBron's last game? How much of the buzz has been the story of the game? How much in that city is the buzz about maybe the last one for LeBron tonight?
Casey, I have to be honest. I'm so tired of the question, but you hit it right on the head. Listen to local sports talk radio. Listen to people at the hotel around town. Yes, Grant and Rip, I went for my long annual walk because why? Because the sun was out today in Cleveland. Everyone was stopping me saying, what do you think if the Cavs lose? Do you think LeBron's leaving? I said, can we at least get to the game first and see what happens? Let's let these guys play the game before we even get there first. LeBron's playing at a high level. What's been consistent in this series is the role players are making shots at home. So most people think Kyle Korver, J.R. Smith, guys of that nature will make some shots, and LeBron, of course, will be LeBron and set the table. And lastly, whoever smacks who first in that first quarter seems to ride the wave for the rest of the game.
D. Scott, another question. We hear a lot about Kyle Korver not being in that first quarter last game. How important for the Cleveland Cavaliers, as T. Lou talked about, getting him early in the game to try to get him going, just to get more spacing out on the floor?
To get more spacing on the floor, but more importantly, Rip, he has to make shots like he's proved to us in games 3 and 4, like everyone else that comes off the bench. All the word and all the chatter you're seeing behind me right now, it's about shot making. Make shots early, because this team's all about riding away. When they make shots, they play better defense, and obviously they rebound the ball much better.
3D, G. Hill here. Hey, we know the playoffs, all about adjustments. We saw Brad Stevens make a change with the starting lineup. He inserted Baines for Morris. Do you anticipate here with Cleveland, their backs against the wall, maybe Ty Lue making a change with the starting lineup, or maybe a different rotation here in Game 6?
I think more of the rotation, Mr. Hall of Famer, because here's why. You want to keep everyone in their right positions, but more importantly, make sure you have enough shot making on the floor, because I think LeBron will put his best foot forward in the first quarter, because we know LeBron pays attention to every little thing. And the theme is, let's smack first. We're at home, get our crowd involved, and then ride their way for the rest of the game.
DZ, on the Boston side, to your point, I've been saying they get off to a good start. They got a shot here even on the road, but we saw a lot of turning the ball over, especially in the first half of both of those 2 games in Cleveland. How much is the message for Boston to hold on to the ball and become more careful with it on the road?
That's a great question, Casey, because that's going to be very important early in the ball game and obviously throughout the game, who takes care of the turnover game. But let's call it what it is. I know you're going to run the interview a little later in the show with Al Horford. I was able to talk to Al on camera and off camera. And it's unfortunate for him. He's been trying to get past LeBron James since the Atlanta Hawks. When they won 60 wins that game, they got swept by LeBron James. And now he's one game close to going to the finals. And G. Hill and Rip, you know this. A lot of guys play their whole careers and never get to the finals. So I think Al Horford is going to have a big ball game tonight.
And DC, we all know about LeBron's great statistics, especially from a scoring standpoint. but how much do he trust his guys, especially in an elimination game right now where all eyes is going to be on him? How aggressive he's going to come out scoring, or is he going to come out pretty much and read the table and make all the correct passes and plays that he's been doing his whole career?
Well, I think throughout this series he's been done a good job of mixing it up. Obviously, game one was doing a whole lot of reading, trying to figure out. But I think in the closeout game, Rip, I think he's going to be more aggressive, more in attack mode to make the defense be on their heel, to make them want to help more, so now he can facilitate, and now those role players have wide open shots instead of contested shots.
Hey, 3D, you talked about Cleveland. They had to be able to make shots. But we got one of the best shot makers in the history of the NBA yourself. That jumper right there, is he still, that flamethrower, is it still working? And will you suit up for those Cavs here in Game 6?
Hey, look, man, the one thing I know, man, just got to lube it up a little bit and make sure you leave it, baby. You got to leave it every time you let it fly.
All right, you can get all of his apparel over at, what is it, shootersparadise3d.com?
Boy, checks in the mail, Casey. Checks in the mail.
Thank you very much. Somebody's
need that hookup, man. I need that hookup,
all right,
3D.
DZ, be well.
Players only.
Come on, Hall of Fame. Yeah, I got all my guys. Players only, baby.
Oh,
Players
boy.
only.
Sideline only. There he is.